Hey everybody, Digibro here once again to bring you yet another excerpt from the upcoming 4-hour podcast that me and Mother's Basement and Best Guy Ever and Subsonic Sparkle did on all of the new Winter 2016 anime. I'm still working on editing the full podcast, but I wanted to share this clip with you particularly because this show was all of our favorite show of the season, and we really wanted the ability to promote it because this show hasn't been getting a lot of attention, and we all think it's fantastic, and we didn't talk about it till pretty far into the video just because we were going alphabetical and this was the last show, so we decided it would be best to put it out as its own video, so go ahead and give it a listen. I want to talk about the last fucking show on this list, and we legitimately saved the best for last, just by sheer coincidence. Shouwa Genroku Rakugo Shinjuu.
Oh,
this
boy.
is easily my favorite show of the season so far.
Yeah.
I don't really see anything else like topping it. But yeah, it's fucking great. And I dude, it makes me so sad because I know no one's gonna watch this show.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy hassle to watch this show every week because it's nearly feature length.
No, it's only the first episode was 45 minutes. That was a special. I've already watched episode 2. It was a normal length episode.
Oh, we should have put this at the beginning so that we could tell people.
That's why
watch
I thought about
Genroku Rakugo Shinjuu.
Yeah.
Oh
We'll
god.
put the key in. We'll put the contents in the description, I guess.
Yeah. Just it's actually like straight up the. I mean, Erased is also really good. It's hard to like.
I disagree.
I waffle between them in terms of which has better direction. Let me just talk about why
this show's so fucking cool. All right.
Okay,
this
go
show,
for it.
It's Studio Dean. I know that's scary, but this is the kind of show that Studio Dean does best, which is where it's just like, it's not really animation intensive. It's pretty much just characters sitting around talking for the most part. But it has like a really, like, they're good at doing like this sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Subdued color palette, right? Where everything's just kind of like looks kind of realistic and rustic and a little old
Washed
feeling.
Washed out a little bit.
Yeah,
Pretty appropriate
and Dean
for a
does
show
that a
like
lot.
this.
They do a lot of that like rustic feel, and it looks really good in this show. The character designs are phenomenal. They're very like, this is a josei manga. It's very like josei shoujo-y, like guys with like thin, beautiful eyes, and like everyone's kind of tall and lanky. But the characters look amazing. The setting looks really good. It's set in the Showa era. I think it's like probably the 60s or 70s. I don't know my eras that well.
Yeah.
It's the Showa era. Yeah, that's the 60s to 70s.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And it's a show about this guy who gets out of prison, and after being like basically set up by his gangster friends because he's a dumbass, and he gets out of prison, and
He didn't seem to mind.
While he was in prison, he had seen this Rakugo like performance by this
We
famous
have to
guy.
explain what
Rakugo is Japanese stand-up. Yeah, it's
sit down more like,
sit down.
kneel down.
yeah, it's basically a combination of stand-up and storytelling, where there's all these stories that they have memorized, and they just kind of tell a story where they're playing all these different characters, and like it's like a dialogue thing, like they're having a dialogue with themselves, and they're just these funny little anecdote stories.
And there's one thing, they get one prop, which is a fan, and they have to make that into everything, and they spend the whole time kneeling, so it's like a one-man play.
Yeah.
And it's always funny.
Yeah,
usually.
the thing is, the funny thing about the Rakugo, because I've heard a lot of people say, or not a lot, but I've heard some people say on Twitter that they were like, oh, I'm going to skip out on the Rakugo show because I don't think I'm going to, get the jokes, because it's a very Japanese form of comedy. But actually, all of it made perfect sense in English. Like, it was all just stories, and the stories, like, the reason they were funny was pretty evident. Like, maybe there's some puns that we probably didn't get, but, like, I thought that the way this show portrays the Rakugo, you easily get what is supposed to be happening and why it's funny and why it matters.
And it goes a long way just how much passion all the characters have for it. It's so endearing to see these guys just loving what they're doing. And I gotta say, having a main character gets out of jail, like, right off the bat, loved it. That was the best
already
beginning.
more interesting than every other main character of of anime.
And he's so
he's
excited
got a
about
dream.
Yeah,
He's got a dream.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
and he's
I
like
love
this,
him.
he's like
I
this,
love
very happy-go-lucky, like, he's very, like, plucky and wants to do good, and all he cares about is doing Rakugo, because he really doesn't have anything else, you know?
Yeah.
And the master... what I love is that, like, you know, there's a lot of shows that do the, like, straight man, funny man type characters, right? But this is, like, really different, because the main character is kind of like an average guy idiot, but the guy who takes him in is like a wizened old conniving asshole man.
Yeah,
you know,
he doesn't
like,
give a fuck for any of his shenanigans.
Yeah, and I love that he's like I believe that this character is 30 years older than this other character. Like, I completely buy into both of them, and like I love that the main character is so not complex, and that the other guy is so complex, where his emotions are so like he's so petty. And he's such an asshole, but he's also like smart, and there's like such a long history with what he's doing.
And the girl there too, like everything going with her. Not only do I like her a lot, I thought I was gonna hate her at first, but she totally won me over because she actually has things that she cares about, and her relationship with the old guy. And I cannot wait to find out the whole mystery there. The only thing that kind of makes me wonder if this is gonna work out is the whole like this is really it's that thing that anime likes to do a lot, where like people just will not tell you the straight story up front, even when you just ask them.
I hate that. You know? And I hate that in most shows, and that's a big part of why I hate mystery shows. I hate when nobody knows what's going on. Okay, here's the thing. I've already watched episode 2. And I get why episode 1 was 45 minutes long now, because episode 2 is entirely about the past between the guy. It's like a flashback episode, and it's about how the old man met the girl's dad, like when they were kids, and how they both trained and like came up, and it's about like them realizing that how they're like polar opposites in personality and comedic style, and it's sort of setting up why they hated each other, or why he hated him by the end, you know. Which didn't even get to that point by the end of episode 2. It's all just like set up, but like it's great. Like the character interactions are fucking spectacular in this show. The way that the way that everyone just talks about their problems and feelings and everything feels so right. It feels real.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like it's got any of that fucking anime baggage. It feels like real.
I think you'll really like appreciate episode 2, and how the actual like plot of episode 2 is like as anime as it gets, because it's like this poor kid from the streets who's like a rough and tumble kid, and then this prim and proper kid, and they both have to train under the same guy and become friends. But the way that it's written is so believable that I kind of forgot that it's like a dumb cliche, that it's, you know, because at first I was like, oh, it's the rich guy and the poor kid, of course. But then like once they start interacting, they had such good chemistry together that I was like, yeah,
that's like how a cliche should be used, like as a jumping off point, and you use your skills to make it work. Yeah.
And that's like the thing. Like if a cliche is used correctly, it's like I instantly understand the basics of what's going on here.
Right.
Now flesh it out.
Exactly.
And that's like good storytelling. The thing that I love about this show is how well directed it is.
Oh yeah.
Like for me, I'm very much like I'm a cinematography and animation like geek. That's almost what I get the most out of shows. I probably watched Sword Art Online for longer than you guys did, because I appreciated those elements until they also got bad. But, like, in this show, the way that they present the Rakugo is so ingenious. Because, like, you can tell who's not so good and who's good. When the main character
Did you watch episode 2 already?
I have not.
That's like the whole, like, episode 2 is all about like showing it. Basically the whole last part is just showing you 2 different Rakugo performances, and one that's just like miserable, and one that's like great, you know.
I need to watch that. But like in the first episode, the details that they put in to, like, when he's first starting out, they show most of his Rakugo in one take, and they don't even like play him talking half the time, because everybody else is having their own conversations and not really being sucked in. And then there's like the midpoint of the episode where he finally does good Rakugo, and like they start the camera starts cutting between different perspectives as he's getting into these different characters. And at first, the cuts are actually off from the dialogue, like, because he's shifting into character a little bit before he's supposed to be saying the line of that character. But then his timing starts getting on point, and you can see him becoming these 2 different people and these 3 different people, and it all comes together at the end. And then they go to the next thing that he's doing, and he's doing it a lot worse. So he's had this one magic moment, and then he's back because it's a process of improvement. And they show him through a TV in like the background. Most of these characters aren't even paying attention to him. And then to contrast that when the Master comes on, not only do they cut between him being all of these different characters at all of these really sharp angles that like define his personality, but as he speaks, whenever he's describing the environment, like it shows this like dream image of like a fire flickering in the wilderness or like the door of a house, and you can like see him painting this picture in your mind. And that contrast is so beautiful, and it's something that you can only really do in an anime to that effect. And, like, Erased also has moments like that are just like, holy shit, take my breath away. I wish that I could direct film as well as these guys direct film. But, like, man... Rakugo is a ride.
This is another one of those shows that really couldn't have been done not in anime.
I don't know. That was actually the one big question I had in my mind was why anime for this? Why not live action?
It was those cuts. The way it would when he's playing a different character, it would do it from a different angle and stuff.
Well, you know what
film?
I would think was the most
I've seen
genius...
that done with film before.
I thought the best single one cut in the whole show was during that first scene where he's doing well for the Aniki guy, and he's putting on a great show, and like not only is he showing the Aniki guy, like what Rakugo is, and like that he's proving that it's like real art. It's not just this bullshit. And like my favorite cut in that whole thing was there's this one like 1 second long cut where like he shifts his legs and you see like how sweaty his legs are. It's like, oh shit, this is fucking real work he's doing up here. He's putting in fucking time up there. That's when I was like, holy shit, I'm totally on board.
I really hope that gang boss becomes a reoccurring character.
Oh, me too.
I want to
He's a
see
great
his
character.
redemption.
He could
slowly coming to respect Rakugo.
What really sold that scene to me, and I couldn't believe that they did this, and they still do it in episode 2, is that it was the whole routine. Like, this is a 5-minute scene of him doing Rakugo. Like,
and they suck you in.
Yeah,
they sure did.
And that's the thing. Like, even though like on the dramatic level, you're caring about it because you're seeing what the main character's going through, how he's developing his skills, how he's like, you see what's going on with the gang boss. But then also, you actually are interested in this funny story he's telling, where it's like you're kind of laughing along, and you're like, oh yeah, I get this humor, this is funny, like. So
I get why a bunch of old people would find that hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
The sturdy blue cotton, I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, that
part was great. Yeah, it's a joke with a good payoff. All the stories are good. There's a part in episode 2. I'll spoil this a little bit, but it's not a major spoiler. But like basically, it shows like another time where it's one performance that's really bad. Like it's the it's like the old man when he was a kid, like giving his first performance. Yeah. He's like terrible because he's like super stiff. The cutting is like not energetic at all. Everyone's just fucking sitting there. And then it's his friend, and he's like super lively and energetic, and everybody's into it. And there's a part where he's like dropping coins into his hand as part of the gag, and he's like saying like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it cuts to on the 4. It cuts to a little kid in the audience who has started counting along with him, and the kid's like 5, 6, 7, 8, and I was like, oh my god, like the detail is so fucking good.
That's genius.
On that moment.
There's also that moment when the main character is doing his thing in the first episode, where like when Aniki is watching and the girl is speaking along with him as he does the lines.
Yeah.
Like, she's like nervous, and then she finally relaxes. The reaction shots in this anime are so good. Everything that they do with characters' body language and character animation is just like blows me away.
Yeah, this is the type of character acting that I wanted to see in like myriad colors, but I just didn't get.
Because most So like this is the Hayao Miyazaki, everyone who's working in anime today sucks problem, which is that animators today don't know how real people act. And when you see an anime that's made by people who know how real people
in that
act,
otaku sphere, suddenly it has a completely different vibe to it. And then you don't need all this exposition anymore, because the characters, you can see how they feel.
That's true.
You can see them developing before.
Well, that's what's great about getting a fucking
Josei
speech. Adaptation for once. Something that's actually fucking aimed at adults and not fucking children. But yeah,
and not also edgy as fuck like a seinen show.
Yeah,
that's true. Whoever made this just had such
Yosei
passion
for
for
some reason.
Rakugo, and it comes through so clearly.
The other thing is, like, the way that the writing is done between the characters, it's very much like a Rakugo play. How they, like, talk to each other. And that, like, back and forth.
You say so.
And the music...
The thing is here, man, this is a show, unlike Erased, where I actually was interested in the mystery because I already cared about the characters by the time they introduced the mystery. Because right from the get-go, I loved the main character guy, right? Like, they establish his passion for Rakugo. He's this, like, desperate newbie, but he really does care. He's got a lot of heart, you know. He meets this old guy. You kind of see how they play off each other. Meets the girl. You see how they play off of each other, you know. And it's, like, setting up how he's getting into Rakugo, and it's really interesting. And then, suddenly, there's a whole other layer of intrigue where he starts getting into her dad's Rakugo, and there's all this drama and backup stuff. And now I'm like, whoa, I want to know all this shit, you know, like, because I'm already interested in these characters. I already love this show, and, like...
So you get invested for episode 2.
Yeah, see, the thing is that, like, with a show like Erased, I get that it's like, okay, I want to know what's going on, but I don't care already. I might care in the future, but I don't care already. In this show, I cared already. And then, like, once they introduced a mystery, like, I'm not watching it for the mystery. I'm watching it for all this other great stuff, but the mystery also has my attention and makes me want to continue watching.
Yeah, this show has enough things that it's rewarding to watch on a moment-to-moment basis.
That's true.
That is very true.
This is how anime tends to work for me, because I watch the first episodes of everything every season, and there's the shows that I watch the first episode and it seems like it's setting up for something, and then I don't care that much, and then there's the ones that are fulfilling on a moment-to-moment level, but they don't really have any draw, so I don't feel like I need to continue. Like, all the slice of life shows, I always go, man, that was a great first episode, and then I never watch it again. But with Rakugo, it was like, I loved everything that was happening, but they also grabbed me. Like, I really want to know what the fucking deal is, you know? So I really have to watch the rest. It's perfect.
So, like, with the reason that I put Erased kind of on the same level is because I really like the main character of Erased.
That's fair enough. I mean, I hate him.
I don't actually like that guy anywhere near as much as I like the Rakugo guy.
I don't like him as much as the people in Rakugo, for sure, but I have a certain affection for, like, that misanthropic, failed artist
I hate
archetype.
Those characters. I hate all misanthropic characters.
I can see why you wouldn't like Erase that.
Yeah, and, like, the thing is that he reminds me a lot of... I did my manga that I think should be anime video.
Yeah, I Am a Hero.
I Am a Hero. The main character of I Am a Hero is also, like, a struggling
I actually thought that
manga artist.
When I first heard about this show, I thought it was that. Like, I thought it was going to be that.
Oh man, I Am a Hero is something else.
It looks pretty great. All right, returning to Shouwa though. Shouwa Genroku Rakugo Shinjuu. Let's call it Rakugo, because that's obviously the most.
I get the vibe this show is not really going to blow up. Or at least not while it's airing.
I think it'll be popular in Japan, though.
Yeah,
like,
in Japan.
I don't think anyone in America is going to watch this shit, except for the people who watch it on Crunchyroll. You know?
Digi, guys, we have to just make, like, a commitment right here to just shove it down all of our subscribers' throats for the rest of the season.
It's a good idea.
Until they fucking watch it. Because it's, like, I don't want this to be another Baby Steps where it's the best show in terms of writing of that season and nobody watches it.
All right, I gotta talk about the voice acting in this, because it was the main character guy is voiced by Tomokazu Seki, longtime favorite of mine. He was the voice of Domon Kashu from fucking G Gundam. He was the fat guy from Steins Gate. Debu, I think was his name. No, that just means fat. Did they call it Daru? That was his name.
Daru, yeah, that's it.
He's like a great actor, and he plays the main guy, super cool. But then here's what really got me. And when you watch episode 2, I'm glad I caught you all before you watched episode 2, because I can maybe possibly blow your mind with this. Because the old guy is voiced by Akira Ishida, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I mostly know this guy for playing Pretty Boys. He's the voice of fucking Kaoru from Evangelion.
Sure.
Like, he plays all these, like, young, smooth... He plays a lot of gay characters. He's always, like, the pretty, like, kind of, smooth-voiced guy.
And I totally see that
and
as
he's
the old
playing,
guy.
Yeah, he's playing this old man, though, and he sounds like an old man. He sounds like he's in his 50s, right? Or 60s, even. And I was like, man, I looked it up, and I couldn't believe it was him. And then I looked at his profile, and he is 50 years old. The actor, right?
Okay.
And
that's
I was,
cool.
and then I started wondering, like, who is, like, what's more natural to him? Playing a 17-year-old like Kaoru in the new Eva movies, or playing this old guy? But then episode 2 rolls around, and it's about the history of the characters. And at the very beginning, he's played by a girl because he's like a little kid. But then it cuts to them both when they're like probably 17 or 18, and it's still Akira Ishida, but he's playing like a young guy voice.
Cool.
And like he totally sounds like a young guy because he has such fucking range. And he's like, this is a mixed narration scene. So like it's him as a young character and him as narrating as an old man. And it's the same voice actor, but he's nailing both roles. It's fucking awesome.
So that's kind of what I mean when I say that the show is sort of presented as a Rakugo.
Yeah.
Because like, they have... all of the characters who have to do Rakugo have to have that incredible range to be able to play all of these different characters in their mini plays.
That's true.
And it makes sense to cast him as a Rakugo master because he has that range.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Like, I almost... like... I would kind of like to see a version of this show where he voices every single character.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It would be a little much, but it would be cool.
If that were a Blu-ray special, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Or, alternatively, a version of any TV show where Norio Wakamoto voices every single character.
I think he might be retired. I haven't seen him around in a while. All right, so I think we said all we had to say about the show. Everyone needs to watch it. It's fucking great. Episode 2 was just as good as episode 1. I thought. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it wasn't as long, so it couldn't go through as much. But I started off a little worried that it was a backstory episode, and then it completely sold me through the quality of the dialogue. So I completely on board for it. We're gonna do the TV shorts now.